7 days into February, so close to the Olympics. Today, we're gonna brag about Colorado all over the games. It's not illegal to be offensive, but what happens when the actual word of the law is kinda mean? Old school offensive terms could be deleted and replaced. Bikes in Denver, they're always big business for thieves, but maybe even more so now. Bandits are now ramming cars into shops for smash and grabs. Hold on to the handlebars. Next is next. The mystery of what happened to a 17-year-old girl here in Colorado continues to expand. If you aren't familiar with the Maggie Long case, you may want to read about it because investigators are asking for your help. This case is baffling for police and the public who are all wondering what happened and why. What we've known. Maggie Long was reported missing in Park County on December 1st when her house caught on fire. That's about an hour drive southwest of Denver near the town of Bailey. A short time later, investigators announced her house was intentionally set on fire. Arson. Her body was found inside. They're investigating the death as a homicide, but so far, nobody has been arrested. Investigators announced today not only is this a murder investigation, but a burglary investigation too. We also got more specifics about what items were stolen. They say whoever killed Long stole a green gun safe. They also took 2 guns, a pistol and an AK-47, and these jade-colored trinkets from the house. So here's what's unknown. The suspect, or suspects. Did Maggie Long walk into a burglary in progress at her house? And most of all, why did this happen? And even though the suspect or suspects made off with guns, investigators say there is no reason for the community to feel like they're in danger. The reward for helpful information that leads to an arrest has been boosted from $15,000 to $20,000. So if you have info, you're urged to contact the Park County Sheriff's Office. They have a hotline set up too. That number is on 9news.com. When you think of a bike thief, it's usually a guy with pliers and other tools lurking around in a hoodie or something. Now, some of these bandits are getting bold with rocks and cars. Here's Kristen Aguirre.
You're about to see one rock go through.
Not quite the countdown Andrew Christman thought he'd be doing on New Year's Eve.
There's 1, 2.
But their actions cold.
3. They're coming in hot now.
Thieves stole 4 bikes worth about $30,000 from his Petal of Littleton shop.
So you kind of get that lost, empty feeling.
And he's not the only one.
You get an alarm that goes off and it just says, glass broken or something along those lines. And when I got here, it's like there was no front of the store left.
Adam Williams' Slow High Coffee and Bike Shop was hit in November. A neighbor's security camera was able to capture the sounds that caused this damage.
They basically backed a pickup truck through and took out the front of the store over there.
Gingy Cycles up the street from Slow High was hit twice this summer.
Broke the windows, came in, grabbed some bikes, and we're gone within 30 seconds.
But the most recent of these smash and grabs happened at C3 last month. The owner tells us a van reversed through the storefront. 4 bikes were stolen.
It seems to me that it's happening more frequently.
Who's next, like who's the target, they're coming, and then it's like, when is it going to happen?
So what can these shops do? They say beef up security.
Refreshing all the locks outside, thicker cables, adding a little bit additional security lights outside.
And hope the countdown to an arrest is near.
They say there's a special place in hell for bike thieves.
For Next, I'm Kristen Aguirre.
We have reached out to the Denver Police and the Littleton Police Department. They say these cases are still open and active. Denver Police wouldn't say yet if they're connected. If you've ever seen the movie The Big Lebowski, there's a line in there about preferred nomenclature. You achievers know what I'm talking about. But what happens when some words in state law are actually offensive and sexist? Here's the dude, Marshall Zellinger, with what may be deleted and replaced.
There is a section of state law entitled Rights of Married Women, with 10 sections specific to the rights of women, as though they need to be specified any different than men. For instance, 14-2-202, any woman while married may sue and be sued in all matters having relation to her property, person, or reputation in the same manner as if she were sole. Last I checked, women and men are equal, so this is how lawmakers want to change this. Let's see here. Any woman becomes a person having relation to his or her property as if he or she were sole. Oh, wait. Since we're changing words, we'll also update sole to unmarried. Elsewhere in state law, there are the terms illegitimate, legitimate, and child born out of wedlock. But since state law recognizes a parent-child relationship regardless of marital status, the terms might be a bit, 1950s. Illegitimate minor children in this law would be replaced with a minor child. And lastly, we'll be getting rid of that R word when talking about mental health. I'll show it to you, but I'm not going to say it. Instead of using this, we'll switch it to the universally accepted intellectual and development disability. You know, I noticed something wrong with what we're calling the show now. We're going to have to edit this in a moment. That passed its first part of the state capitol session. Today, we'll know later this session if those words are gone. And while we're at it, Jeremy, let's just do some editing to... I don't know how fast you have a long name here. So
lots of J's. Fantastic handwriting, excellent change, and don't worry, everybody, it's only temporary. Thank you, Marshall. Parts of RiNo could get high soon, and we're not talking about the weed shops. We're talking about the buildings. The city wants to try something new. Let developers build taller buildings in exchange for a promise to build more affordable housing. Steve Steger spent the afternoon near 38th and Blake.
You don't have to look far to see the changes coming to RiNo. In fact, look closer to the camera there, at that sign, blowing in the wind.
This zoning overlay gives RiNo the opportunity to tackle two of our challenges that's really happening throughout the city, and that is affordability and mobility.
Affordability because it will require developers to build affordable units if they want to build them high. Mobility because the tallest of those buildings would be close to the A-line station at 38th and Blake.
This process started when developers were approaching the city about increased height and density.
Brad Buchanan runs the city's planning and zoning department. He described for us the plan still awaiting city council approval. It essentially would allow developers to build taller buildings than the zoning code already allows to a certain maximum if those developers build affordable units either within that building or somewhere else in the same district.
This is a way for the city to capture some of the value that's being invested through the incredible confidence there is in the real estate market in Denver today.
If they choose not to build taller, they'd just have to pay the typical fee to the Affordable Housing Fund. Makes you wonder if developers might just do that, like so many others in the city have. But developer and RiNo Arts District Board co-chair Andrew Feinstein was in on the discussions and tells us developers seem to love it.
We already have 4 projects in the pipeline now that are going to opt into the higher zoning and will be providing affordable housing.
So the way this whole thing works, the tallest buildings allowed would be closest to the A-line station, and then they'd step down in height as they get closer and closer to the neighborhoods like Curtis Park and Cole. The council will hold a public hearing on Monday night. If they approve, the mayor is expected to sign off on it, and it would be effective next week, Jeremy. So it's a big change,
yeah,
but it could be effective. You and I were talking, it's a lot like SimCity, this whole planning thing.
Yeah, and I remember the old school SimCity games. If your citizens don't get enough of something, they're going to get upset and they're going to get angry and they're not going to be happy. And what we really need right now is affordable housing.
Yeah, and they say the key to this whole process is that the community has been involved through the whole thing. So they talk to the neighborhoods in the area just to make sure they get everyone on board. If they're going to build, they want to make sure the community gets something out of it too.
Nice job, Steve. Thank you very much. Our next question comes from a viewer named Casey. Is there any data on how many of the people hospitalized due to the flu or of those who have died have received the flu shot? This flu season is on track to be one of the worst seasons yet. So far, 53 kids across the country have died. We asked our 9 News medical expert to answer these questions. Of those who died, 50% were otherwise healthy, and only 20% of those who died got the flu shot. As for the shot actually helping, she says it depends. Some years, some strains of the flu are more resistant to the vaccine. She says the shot may still help cut the flu short if you do get it. It's recommended for kids, the elderly, and expecting mothers. The most Colorado thing we saw today is a Jeep thing. It's going to be warm tomorrow and then maybe some snow for the weekend. And celebrating Stout Month with a man who was there from the beginning of this 25-year-old tradition.
It's become a phenomenon that I don't even fully understand.
That's coming up next. most Colorado thing we saw today, just a Jeep decked out for the mountains. Barry McBride spotted this in Breckenridge. Looks like someone took off the Jeep's regular tires and replaced it with treads, just like a snowcat that goes up the mountain to groom all of the runs. That's one way to get around town. You definitely couldn't miss your car in the parking lot either. It's a Jeep thing I probably don't understand.
Jeremy, we'll have to talk after the show. I can tell you all about Jeeps, and that one can go anywhere in any season. And when you have a beautiful view like this, why wouldn't you want to take that Jeep or anything and just get up into the high country? Look at the traffic coming through on I-70 this hour. There's a little bit of light snow up there. In Denver, it's just a beautiful night. Tomorrow will be the warmest day of the week. Today, highs in the low 50s. Tomorrow will be in the low 60s and still in the mid 40s in downtown Denver this hour. Our latest storm is tracking south. The cold air shifting east. Snow coming in to the north of us, and wind advisories there, but our weekend storm is still a day and a half away. So there'll be a few light snow showers over some of the higher peaks, but there are no winter weather or travel advisories to tell you about. And when the storm rolls in on Friday, Denver could actually see an inch or two of snow come Saturday afternoon. And so tonight, dry and calm minus the wind west of town, partly cloudy and a low at 29. Tomorrow, partly sunny, 62, a little bit windy off to the west. We do have mountain snow on Thursday, an icy mix Friday night, a couple inches of snow on Saturday. Saturday's high only 30, clearing and 39 on Sunday. Another storm and another chance for snow on Tuesday. So we are just loving this weather pattern right now. Finally, Jeremy, looking like winter in Colorado. It's so beautiful in Keystone, isn't it?
Right on. It always is, Kathy. Thank you very much. Short days and long nights can start to get old this time of year. Photojournalist Mike Grady talked with a local brew pub that's found a bright spot in a dark place.
Yummy. Not all stouts are big, heavy beers.
That looks delectable.
Traditional foreign-style stout.
Oh, geez, sorry. I got distracted. Well, that tends to happen this time of year at the Mountain Sun Brew Pub in Boulder.
Stout month's our favorite month. Anybody else?
That's right. It's their 25th annual Stout Month.
Stout month is a month that our first brewer, Jack Harris, started as a way to celebrate the darkest days of the year.
The brewery's founder, Kevin Daly, has been slinging beverages for each one.
Did you want to try any stouts?
When he started pouring, they were only one of 3 breweries in a city that now has about 24.
I'm still blown away every time I drive by a new tap room or brewery.
In the early 90s, they were just trying to find their place in the beer world.
It was starting to really grow, but we were still kind of looking to California and Oregon for beers.
Now, they dole out over 30 of their own recipes during this celebration.
Do you have a keg of stout, Kevin?
They have also become a venue for other breweries to showcase their shadowy concoctions.
The brewing industry in Colorado, and particularly in the Front Range, is so collaborative. It's a great way to celebrate all that by featuring so many different styles of stout.
A nice distraction from a late winter month.
More than just beer to us.
For next,
Happy Stout Month.
I'm Mike Grady.
Olympics start tomorrow, and we have a really cool way for you to follow the athletes from Colorado. A DU hockey coach had a big day today, not because of what happened on the rink, and it's a sign. Tweet us with the hashtag HeyNext if you can figure out the irony. Next. Yeah, get ready. The Olympics kick off right here on 9 News tomorrow, and Colorado has a big showing. Out of the 242 Olympians on Team USA, 31 are from Colorado. So, not to brag, that's the most compared to the other states. Not to brag. So that's awesome. And a 4th grade teacher in Longmont is making sure her students know all of them. Sam Roberts tweeted us her class bulletin boards. Her students put this together so they can learn about what it takes to be a champion of character. The Olympic rings are on the wall with a few different characteristics: risk taker, learning from mistakes, grit, setting goals, and integrity. Shout out to Miss Roberts and her 4th graders. And you don't have to run to Miss Roberts' class to learn about the Olympians. We have a really cool story up on 9news.com right now about each of the Olympians representing Colorado. There's a photo of each one with where they're from and information about what sport they're competing in. It also has a biography on each person with a list of the events and their schedules. It'll be a really cool guide for anyone who wants to follow the local Team USA athletes. There's a link to it on the next Facebook page. So, here's the thing. The Olympics will change things here a bit at 9 News. During the Olympics, next, this newscast that you're watching right now will air at 5 p.m., not at 6 when we're usually on. So change your DVRs, change your work schedule, set your alarm, get the babysitter. Next really airs starting tomorrow at 5 o'clock until February 23rd. And I just realized I have to make Valentine's Day plans. Don't tell my wife. University of Denver hockey coach Jim Montgomery came to the United States 27 years ago to play hockey. Since then, he's won an NCAA championship as a player and a coach. There was no game today or title on the line, but this was still one of Montgomery's proudest moments. Jim became a U.S. citizen this afternoon in Centennial. His wife, Emily, and 4 children were on hand for the ceremony. Montgomery was born in Canada but has lived in the United States since 1989, and now he says he's all USA.
Just for my kids and my wife and my family, I thought it was the right thing to do, and I've been living here for 27 years now, so it's about time.
This leaves no doubt as to which team Montgomery will cheer for the Olympics. Not only is he a U.S. citizen now, but one of his players, Troy Terry, is on the United States roster. That's pretty cool. A Q license plate that really may be the best one yet, and a sign that made us laugh out loud today. And your feedback. That's coming up next. And welcome back. It's a sign spotted by next viewer Janet Pringle in Fort Collins. The brake shop, free brake check. What else do you notice here? Does anybody see what we see? It took us a minute too. The entire bottom of the sign is bashed in from what one would assume were someone's brakes maybe not quite working. Okay. All right. Most of you faithful Next viewers know by now that we've been on the hunt for Q license plates ever since Steve Steger did a story about why there are so many Qs on Colorado license plates. For those of you who don't know, it's because the state once used a font on license plates that made it too hard to figure out what was a Q, an O, and a 0. We've seen a few plates with multiple Qs, but this one has 7 Qs. Karen Colton saw this at the intersection of Dry Creek and I-25 yesterday. Jackpot of Qs. Karen said, I found the center of the universe this morning, and as a smart viewer, a smart viewer named Christine Loveletter noted, there's a reason for all of those Qs. It's an Audi Q7. Makes total sense, right? One piece of feedback tonight, you should only wear shirts with French cuffs. Jay, I'm not going to France to shop, I'm sorry.